Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and today I want to talk to you about creativity. And some people think they aren't creative, and I'm going to give you an explanation of what I think creativity is, or it's something that I have read recently, and it basically says creativity is essentially the connecting of two dots together and creating a relationship between them. So a lot of times I think we have to sit there and come up with something amazing, but if you really think about it, the best creativity is where people have seen something else, and they've been able to join it together, connecting those two dots. If you look at Apple, what they've really done is just connected technology with design. Connecting the dots doesn't have to be earth-shattering. And when I was in the US recently, back in October, there were a few things that I saw over there that I thought was absolutely fantastic. Capital One Cafe was an example, and that was Capital One Bank and Verve Coffee, how they got together. The second thing that I saw was in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was Yellow Spruce Roasters, and they were a coffee lounge and also a wine bar, and they connected them together and were open at different times. And the third thing we saw was a drive-through ATM, which I had never seen before. Some people told me it wasn't anything new, but it was the first time I'd seen it. And even my wife, it was the same thing. And we were both really impressed with it, but it actually made sense considering the drive-through had been around since 1947, if you can believe that, and the ATM since 1967. Not the way we use an ATM now with the cards that we have. They sort of have more like punch cards. But still, those two things, 1947 and 1967, that they had actually been around. And the drive-through came about post-World War II, when car hop services were all the rage. And that's when the car would just pull up at the front of a restaurant and you could stay in your car and actually get served. And back then it was called drive-in restaurant, not dine-in, drive-in restaurant. And that started in 1921 by Kirby's Pig Stand. Then it evolved from there. And this is where creativity comes into play. Red's Big Hamburger came up with the drive-through idea. So instead of sitting in your car and someone delivering it to you, what about if you could pick it up in your car and then basically take it home and eat it? That was a new idea. Then in 1948, In-N-Out Burger added what they called at the time state-of-the-art, a two-way speaker. So once again, they've seen the speaker, they've seen the drive-through, gone, we can put these two things together, and they came up with something a little bit more creative. In 1951, Jack in the Box was the first fast food chain to open and was a drive-through only restaurant. They also created like a self-serving fake holiday, and they called it National Drive-Through Day, which is actually 24th of July, and it still exists. So once again, that is creativity. And how many specific days do we celebrate? And did it all start because Jack in the Box did it way back when? We now have National Rum Day, which I know is the 16th of August. And people know that I like a hamburger, which is the 28th of May is International Burger Day. And yeah, if you think about it in podiatry, we have Foot Health Week. So I'd say a lot of these things have all developed through creativity over a period of time. So you can see as creativity develops, it's really just the connecting of existing dots. People are seeing things that are already happening and going, I wonder if I can do this. And that's the thing. I think if you ever have an idea, you don't want to die wondering. Take a little bit of action. Just see, can those two things actually work together? I remember being in Queenstown in New Zealand, and we went to an Asian/Polynesian fusion restaurant. So somebody saw Asian food, Polynesian food, let's put these two things together and see what happens. And I'll tell you right now, it was amazing. And it all started because someone connected two dots. One of my favorite spirits is called Howler, and it is a banana-infused bourbon whiskey, which I think is, I absolutely love it. And in podiatry, if you think about it, connecting footwear with a podiatry business is nothing new. But consider how technology is being used in our profession these days. 3D printing and orthotics. AI is currently all the rage. Most podiatrists I know have embraced one form or another of using AI for taking notes. Something that was once a big task has now become very simplified. And in January 2025, on the Podiatry Legends podcast, I have a guest coming on to talk about their software called Clinical Notes AI. So stay tuned for that one. And I think we're living in really exciting times because no creative idea is actually off limits. And as a business owner, you should be encouraging your team to connect the dots and be creative. Have them always looking out for different ideas and can they come up with something and bring the ideas to you. I think in your business, you should really try to encourage creativity and point it out to them. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It's really just connecting dots. Can they see something that you can't see yourself as a business owner, and can they bring those two dots together? Now, it doesn't mean that every creative idea is a great idea. Of course, I don't know if you've tried the Coca-Cola Oreos. Not the best idea in the world. Some people probably love them. I don't think it's a great idea. And there was another one. There's a whiskey that I like in Australia called Ned Australian Whiskey. I actually like the whiskey. But then they started making these little UDL cans with cherry cola. They are disgusting. I bought a 4-pack and I tell you, they were terrible. They were really high in alcohol and they were terrible. But the funny part is I like Ned whiskey and I really like cherry cola. Put the two things together and it's atrocious. So not every connectivity works, but for somebody else, they might actually like the cherry cola and whiskey. So I hope you get something from that. Think about your business. Get your team involved. But even yourself as a business owner, always be looking for what's going on around you. Don't just put blinkers on and just go to work every day and come home again. And that's why you would have heard me mention numerous times if you've seen a number of my videos. When I travel now, I'm always traveling with intent. I'm always looking at what businesses are doing. And I still have got to put together my highlights of my holiday that I had in the US back in October, November, which will be coming soon. I'll put it together as a podcast. Okay. Hope you get something from this video. If you like it, bang, give it a thumbs up. Tell your podiatry friends or tell all your friends that these videos exist, especially if they need some business advice. And if you're really enjoying the videos, please subscribe so you don't miss when any new ones come out. Okay. Look after yourselves and I'll talk to you again later. Bye.